Namo Om Vishnapadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanti Namini. Namo Om Vishnapadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanti Namini. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I pay my obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. I express all my gratitudes and make many praises to the Prabhupada for having given the golden opportunity to go back to God to all of us. All goes to Srila Prabhupada for his wonderful devotional services to Srimati Radharani and Lord Gopinath. Hare Krishna. This Bhagavath Katha will be in English till 9:30. I shall do the verse 3 times. Please repeat along with me. Later I give the narration. We are in the 4th canto, 10th verse. We have finished 3 chapters in the first canto. In the first canto, the sages in Naimisharanya, they raised 6 important questions to the spiritual master Sudha Goswami. And in reply to their questions, Sudha Goswami started telling their reply in the 2nd chapter onwards. In the 3rd chapter, he has told about various incarnations of Krishna, for which Krishna himself is the cause of all incarnations. This is the 4th chapter. This is the appearance of Narada Maharshi. We are in the 10th verse. Please repeat with me 3 times. Samrat Kashya Vaheto Panduna Mana Vardhanaha Payopavishto Gangayam Anaditya Dhirat Sriyam Sasamra Taskasya Heto Panduna Mana Vardhana Prayopavishto Gangayam Anaditya Sriyam Sasamra Tasya Heto Panduna Mana Vardhana Prayopavishto Gangayam Anaditya Adhirat Sriyam Samasamrat Tasya Vivaheto Panduna Manavardhanaha Prayopavishto Gangayam Anaditya Adhirat Sriyam. The word-to-word meaning of this verse is Saha, he, Samrat, the emperor, Kashya, for what? Va, or, Heto, reason, Pandunam, of the sons of Pandu, Manavardhanam, one who indicates the family, Prayapavishto, sitting and fasting, Gangayam, on the bank of Ganges, Anadritya, neglecting, Adhirat, acquired kingdom, Sriyam, opulences. He was a great emperor and possessed all opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of Ganges and fast until death? Here, the great emperor is the Parishit Maharaja. He is the son of Uttara and Abhimanyu. When he was in the womb of his mother Uttara, on the last day of the Kurukshetra war, when Ashwatthama aimed Brahmastra at him, he was killed in the womb of Uttara. But otherwise, since he was the devotee, Krishna himself protected the child in the womb itself, and hence Krishna named him as Parikshit. And while Yudhishthira, the elder brother of all the Pandavas, ruled the entire world for 36 years after the end of the Kurukshetra war. Later, when Krishna departed to his world, Parandama, Parloka Vaikuntha, Pandavas also went to the heavenly planets. At that time, Yudhishthira made this Parikshit as the next emperor succeeding him, because he was the only successor available after the Kurukshetra war. And Parikshit Maharaja ruled for 60 years and more better than Yudhishthira's ruling. At that time, when he went for hunting, as usually the kings go for hunting now and then, whenever they have to protect the sages and sadhu persons in the forest. So, while going for hunting, when he went for hunting, there he felt very thirsty, and he, to quell his thirst, he went into an ashram where the sage was in deep meditation. When the king entered, he did not notice him. The king got angry. Actually, he is a very kind-hearted, king is very kind-hearted person, emperor is a kind-hearted person, but the thirst felt by him made to feel angry, because by the time already Kali time has started. So, out of angry, he found a dead snake in that ashram. He took that dead snake and put it around the neck of the sage and left. Immediately after the emperor left, his sage son, Shringi, came over there. He was just about 10 to 12 years old boy. He went out to play with his friends. After that, when he came and saw a snake, dead snake in his father's he got angry, and without knowing who has made it and why it was made, he cursed that, saying any person who has put this dead snake around his father's neck will die out of snake's bite within 7 days. As soon as he cursed the father of the Shringi, he opened his eyes and saw that his son cursing somebody. Out of his divine vision, he saw that it was nothing, the offense was committed by Emperor Parikshit Maharaja. So immediately said, son, he said, what you have done is wrong. It was king who was a very righteous person and ruling the kingdom in a righteous way. He should have not punished with such a severe curse. But since it could not be withdrawn, the curse could not be withdrawn, the sage made the son and his friend to go to the emperor and leave the message of the curse, so that at least within these 7 days, Parikshit Maharaja will take care of further king ruling of this entire world. Maharaja Parikshit was the emperor of the world and all the seas and oceans, and did not have to take the trouble to acquire the kingdom by his own effort. He became an emperor by not invading any of the kings all around the world. He just acquired inherited the entire world as an emperor from his grandfather, that is Yudhishthira Maharaja. He inherited it from his grandfathers, Maharaja, Yudhishthira and brothers. Besides that, he was doing well in the administration and was worthy of the good names of his forefathers. Consequently, there was nothing undesirable in his opulence and administration. Then why should he give up all these favorable circumstances and sit down on the bank? This is astonishing, and therefore all were eager to know the cause. Shall do the next verse, 11th verse, 3 times I shall tell. Please try to repeat with me. Namanti yat pada niketam atmanaha Sivaya haniya dhanani satravaha katam sa viraha shriyam anga dustyajam yuvaisato trishtatam aho saha subhihi namanti yat pada niketam atmanaha Sivaya haniya Dhanani satravaha katam sa viraha shriyam anga dustyajam yuvaishyato trishtatam aho sa subhihi namanti yat pada niketam atmanaha Shivaya haniya dhanani satravaha kadam sa viraha Shriyam anga dustyajam yuvaishvato trishtatam aho sasab subhihi namanti yat padaniketam atmanaha Shivaya haniya dhanani satravaha kadam sa viraha Shriyam anga dustyajam yuvaishvato trishtatam aho sasab subhihi namanti bowing down yat pada whose feet niketam under atmanaha own Sivaya welfare haniya used to bring about dhanani wealth satravaha enemies kadam for that what reason saha he viraha the chivalrous shriyam opulences anga dustyajam insuperable yuva in full youth alasta desired utsatam to give up aho exclamation saha with ashubhihi life. He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength and is possessed insuperable kingly opulences. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? Maharaja Parikshit was so great that even his own enemies, they used to visit him and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth, because they thought that Parikshit, the emperor, can only save, he is the savior. He can protect them from all their whatever troubles they are facing in ruling their kingdoms. He was full of youth because when the Parikshit Maharaja was born, and thereafter Yudhishthira ruled for 36 years. That means the age of Parikshit Maharaja must be only 36 years old when he became the emperor. And thereafter, when he left this world, at that time he was 36 plus 16, 96 years. There was nothing undesirable in his life. He had everything. There was nothing shortcomings in his life. He was quite a young man and could enjoy life with power and opulence. So there was no question of retiring from active life. There was no difficulty of collecting the state taxes because he was so powerful and chivalrous that even the enemies would come to him and bow down at his feet and surrender all wealth for their own benefit. He never pressurized anybody to make any tax payment. It was very easy. He was controlling all the smaller kings under him throughout the world. They used to come on time every year on the due date, before the due date itself, and they used to give all the wealth that is to be needed to be given to the Emperor Parikshit Maharaja. At that time, they used to bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. Maharaja Parikshit was a pious king because he was ruling the entire world in a righteous way. He conquered his enemies and therefore the kingdom was full of prosperity. All the kingdoms, smaller kingdoms in the world, though they were under the smaller kings, the entire world was ruled by the Emperor Parikshit Maharaja, and it was full of prosperity. There was enough milk was there, enough food grains, metals, and all the rivers and mountains were full of potency. There was nothing like a situation of drought or flood. The rivers were plenty with full of water, sufficient for the drinking and all other requirements of the human beings and other living beings. So materially, everything was satisfactory. Therefore, there was no question of untimely giving up his kingdom and life. The sages were eager to hear about this. Since we have some more time, I am going to the next verse, that is 12th verse. Please repeat with me 3 times. I shall do it slowly. Shivaya lokasya bhavaya bhutaye ya uttama shloka parayana janaha jivanti natmartam asau parashrayam mumucha nirvidya kutaha kalevaram Shivaya lokasya bhavaya bhutaye ya uttama shloka parayana jana jivanti natmartam asau parashrayam mumocha nirvidya kutah kalevaram Shivaya lokasya bhavaya bhutaye ya uttama shloka parayana janaha jivanti natmartam asau parasharyam mumocha nirvidya kuda kalevaram Shivaya lokasya bhavaya bhutaye ya uttama shloka parayana janaha jivanti natmartam asau parasharyam mumocha nirvidya kuta kalevaram. The word to word meaning of this verse is Shivaya, welfare, lokasya, of all living beings, bhavaya, for flourishing, bhutaye, for economic development, ye, one who is uttama shloka parayanaha, devoted to the cause of personality of Godhead, janaha, men, jivanti, do live, na, but not, atma artham, selfish interest, asau, that, for ashrayam, shelter for others, mumocha, give up, nirvidya, being freed from all attachment, kutaha, for what reason, kalevaram, mortal body. Those who are devoted to the cause of personality of Godhead live only for the welfare, development and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though the Emperor Parikshit was free from all attachment to worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body? which was shelter for others. A pure devotee of personality of Godhead will live only for the development, welfare and happiness of the entire, all the universes, all the living beings living in these Akhila Kota Brahmanda. They will never have any selfish interest. They never desire for their own purpose. Even for the purpose of family also, they think it as selfish. In the interest of the society, the city or the world itself, and the entire Samasta Loka, Sugno Bhavanti, Akhila Kota Brahmanda, they will be having only interest for all living beings. I am not just saying it's the human beings, but all other living beings, whether it is animal, tree or whatever it is. So even though the Parikshit was free from attachment to worldly possessions, Parikshit never needed any thing for his selfish interest. He was free from all attachment. Though he possessed many things, he was free from all those things, attachments. How could he give up? Sages want to know how could he give up his mortal body, which was shelter for others. Parikshit Maharaja was an ideal king and householder because he was a devotee of personality of Godhead. Parikshit Maharaja was not just the emperor of the entire world, but he was also an ideal householder because he was a devotee of personality of Godhead, the supreme God, that is Krishna. A devotee of Lord automatically has all good qualifications. And the emperor was a typical example of this, because Parikshit Maharaja, when he was in the womb of Uttara, his mother, at that time itself, because he was a devotee, Krishna has protected him and imparted all the knowledge required for him as a devotee. Personally, he had no attachment for all worldly opulences in his possession. But since he was a king for all around the welfare of his citizens, he was always busy in the welfare work of the public. Not only for this life, but also for the next. He would not allow slaughterhouses or killing of cows. He was not a foolish and partial administrator who could arrange for the protection of one of the living being and allow another to be killed. Because he was a devotee of the Lord, he knew perfectly that perfectly well how to conduct his administration for every men, animals, plants and all living creatures. He was not selfishly interested. Selfishness is either self-centered or self-extended. He was neither. His interest was to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever he has made, is only in the service of the Supreme God. The king is the representative of the Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita also, in the 10th chapter, Krishna Bhagavan has told that among king, among many creatures, even king, he is also as a king. King also represents him. The king is the representative of the Supreme Lord, and therefore the king's interest must be identical with that of the Supreme Lord. Parikshit Maharaja was not selfish because as he represents the Supreme God Krishna, because Krishna will not have any selfish, whatever he has done, he is doing only for the purpose of all living creatures, not just for the human beings, for all the living creatures in all the universes. That is, in this Akhila Kota Brahmanda, there are many crores of universes, and in every universe there are many planets are there, and in all planets there are living beings, different living beings are there, which we cannot see through this our present naked eyes. These eyes don't have that strength to see those other living beings on the other planets. But when we get a divine vision, we can see them. The Supreme Lord wants all living beings to be obedient to Him and thereby become happy. It's not just because Parikshit Maharaja is the representative of Krishna, only he should be in the service of God. All the devotees, whether he is an ordinary citizen also, he can be, who is a devotee of Krishna, we should always be in the service of God. Whether you are an atheist or a theist, every living being, that is human being, because we only have the consciousness to recognize everything. Animals don't have consciousness what we have. We have intelligence with which we can identify everything. We can understand these scriptures because we have that intelligence. God has, because we have taken many lakhs of births earlier, before this human birth. Before we took this birth, God, out of His kindness and grace, He has given us this human body with intelligence, thinking that we would devote ourselves to His service and go back to our original home. The present home, wherever we are staying, maybe it is our own or inherited property, but they do not belong to us. They belong to us only till we exist. That means our life is there. Once this life is over, our progeny might continue, or somebody might loot it. Illegally or legally they might loot it. So, our original home is in the Goloka Vrindavana Parandama. We need to reach there, because once we go there, we will not take any more births. This births, whatever earlier we have taken lakhs of births, all these births are nothing but sufferings of our earlier sins, what we have committed in earlier lives. And whatever punya we do, righteous virtue we achieve. If we achieve right virtue, good virtue, we go to Uttama lokas like Indraloka, Brahmaloka, Sindaloka, like that. But we need to come back once they are reduced. Because like it's a currency notes, we have a crore of rupees. When you go on spending it, one day it becomes zero. Again, you need either you to replenish them by earning, or you should get it from some other source. Like that, our good virtues also punya, whatever we earned, we will be going to other lokas and enjoy our rest of time over there. But as soon as the good virtues are exhausted, we fall down and take birth again. That could be human birth or any animal birth also, based on the bad virtues or good virtues remaining. The Supreme Lord wants all living beings to be obedient to Him and thereby become happy. Therefore, the king's interest is to guide all subjects back to kingdom of God. Hence, the activities of the citizens should be so coordinated they can at the end go back to our original home, back to Godhead. For this reason, we need to remember Krishna. Before we have been delivered from mother's womb, we have promised Him that we will follow all His instructions. But due to the attraction of these various other qualities of this nature, we forget Him. We don't remember anything. And we do all nasty things which should not be done. So, for us to avoid this birth after birth among the 84 total living beings, we need to remember only the Supreme God by any name, any of His thousands of names, like Narsinga, Rama, Krishna, Srinivasa, so on and so on. If we remember these names at the end of our life, then we can be qualified for liberation. With the blessings of God, we can get liberated, and we will not thereafter get any more births. Otherwise, we need to take birth after birth, like the calendar months move one after the other and again repeats. Under the administration of the representative king, the kingdom is full opulence, because king will take welfare of health, education, food, protection, everything by the king. And he also makes all arrangements for their remembering the God by performing various sacrifices, performing various worships, constructing temples, doing the preachings through sadhus and monks, like that. At that time, human beings need not eat animals, because even in the Vedas, it is prescribed that Ayurveda is our food. Ayurveda means it is not the medicine. Here, Ayurveda means plants, because God has given us a creating power. We can create and multiply the plants so that we can consume them, nourish them, release them, like that. Because whereas if you kill some animal, you cannot create any animal. Even in the present day, the eggs which are made in the poultry farms, they are artificial, they cannot create any living beings at all. So, when you cannot create any other living beings, killing animals is wrong. Otherwise also, Sri Krishna Paramatma, he is there in all the living beings, whether it is human being or animals or plants. He is there each and every living being. He is also there in the Devatas, Asuras, Rakshasas, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, etc. So, when he is there in every living being, we need to maintain their bodies like a temple. So, we cannot kill them, and since also Paramatma is in our body, we cannot kill the animal and eat it and make our body as a cremation ground for those animals. Otherwise, you need to keep your heart pure, because in the heart, along with the spirit, our spirit soul, Paramatma is also there. There are ample food grains, milk, fruit and vegetables, so that the human beings as well as the animals can eat sumptuously and to their heart's content. Because we have the creation capacity for the production of agricultural products, that is vegetables, fruits, etc. There is sufficient food available for all the living beings, including animals and birds. If all the living beings are satisfied with food and shelter and obey the prescribed rules, there cannot be any disturbance between one living being and another. So we need to see equally all the living beings. We shouldn't differentiate. In the earlier class, I told you that when Shukadeva Goswami was born, at that time, just he offers his opulences, pranams to his parents, and just walks away nakedly, just with covering his genitals with the lion cloth. At that, when Vyasa Bhagavan used to wander in that area, when he used to cross the pond, all the women who were taking bath in the river, they used to cover their immediately they used to cover their body with clothes. But when Shukamarsi went through that area, they never covered, because even those women had the knowledge that Shukadeva Goswami sees all the living beings equally. He never differentiates between a man and woman and human beings and animals or birds, like that, because he considers all the creation as one and the same. So when we take care of all living beings equally, then all the food and shelter and obey the prescribed rules, there cannot be any disturbances between a living being and another, one living being and another. There will not be any competition or quarrels or fight for the purpose of, generally we quarrel for the purpose of food, shelter and wealth. And when we see everyone as equal, this fight will not arise and there will not be any disturbances in the society or the world. Emperor Parikshit was such a worthy king and therefore all were happy during his reign. As told you earlier that we need to get out of this birth and death. For that one, we need to remember Krishna at the end of our life. We do not know when our life comes to an end. It can happen suddenly anytime, or it might happen at the old age due to some disease or some accident or something. So, in order to remember Krishna, we can't think I'm a young person. When I become old, I'll start remembering Krishna. You can't say that one, because at that time we do not know in what condition we will be there. Whether we will be in disease condition, we will be able to talk, hear, we do not know anything. For that reason, right from the childhood we have to remember Krishna. So, for this purpose, about 600 years ago, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a devotee of Krishna, again he is the incarnate of Krishna himself, but he considered himself as only devotee. He never said that he is a god. He gave us a mantra, Hare Krishna Maha. There are many mantras are there, auspicious mantras, but we can't meditate upon those mantras because there are so many regulations are there. Even without taking water, we need to meditate upon them. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this Kali Yuga, since it is highly impossible to meditate like that, he has given us this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra which does not have any regulations. This can be meditated, chanted 24 hours into 7 days into our lifetime. Why lifetime means? Since we do the practice, then only we can remember, because Krishna gives only few seconds. I do not know whether it is 2 or 3 seconds only at the end. In the 2-3 seconds you need to remember him. If you remember him, you will be achieving your goal. That is the ultimate goal. We will be having so many goals. If you are in the young age, we think we have to earn a lot, crores of rupees. Not 1 or crore, 2, some hundreds and thousands of crores we need today. So, and because it's like that, you are seeing so many political leaders. I need not tell you. If you see the newspaper, you will know. They have already earned, still they want to earn, but they are also suffering, being behind the bars. So, in the youthful age, they want to earn. Again, when they get married, they want to have children, they want to enjoy with wife, they want to have a very palatial building, they want a big car. So many goals will be there. But our ultimate goal is to go back to Godhead. Go back to Golaka Vrindavana or any Vaikunthas in this Akilota Brahmanda. Then only you will not take this, you will cross over this life cycle. Otherwise you will take again birth. Based on your good deeds and bad deeds. If you have done good deeds, you will go to heavenly planets. Enjoy there, like in 5-star hotel, and as soon as your money is over, you come out of the 5-star hotel. Similarly, when your good virtues are over, you will come back. But coming back, I do not know whether you will get this human life or some other animal life or go to hell. Because along with good virtues, we must have done bad virtues also, papa. So we have to suffer that papa also. Based on the quantity and quality of papa, we are going to be punished. Taking some hog like pig or dog, cat, and those birds, or we might go to real hell also. So to avoid all those things, we need to remember Krishna will be liberated. At that time, when we are liberated, we will be given a divine, for everyone, another body will be given for the soul when he leaves this body. And they go to Chandrayaan, from there they go to different planets based on the good virtue or bad virtue. But even for when we get moksha also, we get different bodies when we travel through all the planets. It's not just we'll directly go to Vaikuntha. what happens is our Atma, it will be like if you sit in a train, so many stations will be coming from here to Delhi, Hastinapura. So many stations will come. Similarly, when you go to Goloka Vrindavana or Vaikuntha also, so many planets are there. You will be going through all the planets where you will get those different bodies suitable for those planets, and you will be very happy there because those devatas or Gandharva, Kinnara, everybody, they welcome you. They say, oh, how lucky you are, how fortunate you are, because devatas also, they are also like living beings like us. They are doing some service. They say you are liberated, you are most fortunate. They welcome us, this bid farewell also. They send us to the next planet with giving another body. Like that we go, we finally, when we reach Viraja Nadi near Brahmaloka, Vishnu Dutas will give a bath in that Viraja Nadi and give us God give us a form which is equal to his own form. We will have 4 shoulders similar to God, but will not become God. Will not become God or nor will merge with him. We will be staying there as a devotee only, doing all devotional services. Because in this Akhilakota Brahmanda, God needs many services. He might give us some service which we have to do, like that. So only at that stage, when we get liberated and go to Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavana, we are liberated, we will not take any other birth. Even if you are doing his service to controlling some planet or doing some other activity of him, you will not take any more births. So like that we will be doing. For that reason, we need to remember him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We shall chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra 10 times. Please tell loudly. Otherwise, his instruction is to chant 64 rounds on the beat. Beat contains 108 beats. If you Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you have to do 108 times. It takes 15 minutes in the initial days. Once you practice, it takes only 7 to 10 minutes. You need to devote that much time. Because I understand you have to go to the college or your employment place or business. You have to work for 8 hours for earning. Without earning, we can't live in this world. So for that purpose, we need to go. But at least you do this 7 to 10 minutes, one round, and remaining, if it is possible, you carry the chanting band, you do the, whenever you find, you do the chanting. Otherwise also without chanting band, you can chant his name. Like that. Also, that is one way of remembering God. The other way of remembering is your elder parents at home, they are unable to come here. Your children, if you have children, small children, they can't come here. You tell about the Hare Krishna, you can sit and have darshan. Just for another 5 minutes, you can continue this discussions. So like that, you can remember God. You tell all the stories what you listen here in the satsang and inform them. So like even they will start practicing, remembering God. And you don't hurt or harm anyone in the society, any living being. I am not telling human beings, any living being don't hurt. And try to share whatever you are having. It's not that whatever you are having, you should contribute everything. At least some small quantity you share, help them, like that. So we shall chant his Hare Krishna Mahamantra for 10 times and disperse for today. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone loudly please. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama राम राम हरे हरे स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः न्यायेन मार्गेण महिमैषाः गोवंशवस्तु नित्यं समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रिया बुद्ध्यात्मते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् परस्मै नारायणं समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायण सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु मंगलम 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 नित्य मंगलम। जय श्री राधा गोपीनाथ की जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा की जय श्री नरसिंह भगवान की जय श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय श्री पंचतत्व की जय श्री मध्व ग्रंथ की जय श्री हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की हरे कृष्णा। टुडे इवनिंग वी हैव Mahabharata in Hindi. Again tomorrow morning we will have Bhagavatam in English.